Welcome to This Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today because we're going to explore a concept that fundamentally changes how we lead, how we love, and honestly, how we live. We often think of success in these areas as requiring entirely different skill sets, right? Like one toolkit for work, a totally different one for home. But what if there was just a single underlying principle, a foundational mindset that literally supercharges all of them? Well, today we're looking at the master key of humility. And I promise you, by the end of our time together, you're going to see this concept in a completely new and incredibly empowering light.
So, what connects ancient wisdom to modern boardroom success and thriving relationships? Sounds kind of like the setup to a riddle, doesn't it? But the source material we're unpacking today reveals that there's actually a single, continuous thread connecting ancient philosophy all the way to modern business research by experts like Jim Collins. It's a psychological framework that acts as a toolkit for managers building elite teams, a guide for couples navigating conflict, and honestly, a blueprint for a healthier society. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our agenda. 1. The secret of humility. 2. Toolkit for managers. 3. Winning relationships. And 4. Personal resilience. 1. The secret of humility. Ancient wisdom meets modern science. To actually use this toolkit effectively, we've got to completely reframe our foundational understanding of what humility even is. We need to strip away the misconceptions and look at the deep psychological infrastructure of excellence. There's this incredible quote from Rabban Yohanan ben Zakkai: "If you've learned much Torah, do not claim credit for yourself, because for this you were created." Now, while this specifically mentions Torah, the core message here applies to the academy, the corporate world, literally any professional field. Expertise is just the realization of our innate potential. It's our destiny. It is absolutely not a license for arrogance. When you realize that your high level of talent is often just an innate tendency that makes learning easier for you, that you are, created for this, it naturally commands modesty. Now, let's be super clear about what we're looking at here. Humility is not self-deprecation. It doesn't mean making yourself small or shrinking your achievements. No way. True humility is an accurate self-assessment and a deep connection to reality. If you're a true expert, you recognize that your high level of skill in one specific area means that you inevitably have blind spots, limitations, and a lack of knowledge in other areas. It's about seeing yourself exactly as you are in relation to the wider world. 2. Toolkit for managers and teams.
All right, so now that we've redefined humility as a grounded, accurate view of our own potential and limits, let's transition seamlessly into the workplace. How does this ancient concept actually function as a highly effective toolkit for modern management? Well, consider the stark contrast between two types of leaders drawn from Jim Collins's famous Good to Great research. A standard manager often looks out the window to blame external factors for failures and looks in the mirror to claim glory for success. But Collins identified what he calls level 5 leaders. These are the most effective leaders because they combine profound personal humility with fierce professional resolve. They do the exact opposite of the standard manager. They attribute successes to their team and take intense personal responsibility for failures. That combination builds massive trust and stability.
And what's really fascinating here is how a leader's humility directly impacts the team's daily reality. When a leader is humble, it creates what psychologists call psychological safety. Because the expert shows they can learn and actually values the contributions of others, the team feels safe. They aren't paralyzed by fear. This directly unlocks team innovation, a willingness to openly admit mistakes without fear of retribution, dramatically higher performance, and enhanced creativity. The humble leader creates the environment where the team can actually dare to be great. And this ties perfectly into the concept of intellectual humility, which is a term emphasized by researchers like Tanel Porter. Intellectual humility is the simple but profound recognition of the limits of our own knowledge. When a manager has this, they possess teachability. Instead of being trapped in the exhausting need to appear as the know-it-all, they're open to opposing views. This is the secret to better complex problem solving and a constant motivation for continuous learning. I mean, you literally can't learn if you think you already know everything, right? Okay, so we've seen how powerful this is in the boardroom. But how does teachability transform our romantic lives? We're going to pivot our narrative sharply right now, moving from the corporate office to the intimate spaces of our own living rooms. Because this master key doesn't just unlock professional success, it is vital for our most personal connections.
3. Humility for winning relationships.
We're going to take the exact same toolkit used by elite level 5 CEOs and apply it straight to romantic partnerships. The crucial point is this concept right here: freedom from image maintenance. Positive psychology research shows that a lack of humility traps us in the chronic, exhausting stress of having to constantly prove our superiority. Think about how destructive that is in a relationship. Dropping the know-it-all mask relieves all that pressure. It acts as the ultimate conflict resolution tool for couples. Because when you don't have to defend a flawless image, you can actually listen to your partner. Let's see how this builds into an actionable sequence for couples. Step 1. Drop the mask of superiority. Just stop pretending you have all the answers. Step 2. Acknowledge your personal limits. Just like the intellectually humble manager, admit when you're wrong or when you simply don't know. Step 3. Invest that freed-up energy into quality relationships. When you stop wasting your emotional energy on draining ego battles and image maintenance, you can redirect all of that power into true intimacy and genuine connection. 4. Personal resilience and a healthy society. Finally, if we expand our lens from the couple to the individual, we see the profound findings of positive psychology regarding character strengths and how they ripple out into wider society. When an individual adopts humility, the benefits are immense. It allows for true personal growth because you're finally connected to reality rather than your ego. On a macro level, it fosters greater societal tolerance because we actually respect the differing expertise and perspectives of others. And on a deeply personal level, this release of pressure directly contributes to deep life satisfaction and a profound sense of meaning. To bring it all together, expertise is our destiny, but humility is the engine that sustains it. This beautifully weaves Rabban Yohanan ben Zakkai's ancient concept of destiny with the modern science of continuous growth and leadership. Humility allows the expert to remain a forever student. It allows the leader to grow others, and it allows every single one of us to fulfill our potential while staying deeply connected to reality. It turns our talents into a source of blessing and prosperity rather than arrogance. Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. Where can you drop your ego today? Whether it's to create psychological safety for your team at work, to finally drop that exhausting image maintenance in your romance, or just to find a little more peace in your own mind, the master key is in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really challenge you to put this powerful toolkit to use right now.